The first slide was in '98 in Berlin at the Berlin Biennial, and it was actually based on a misunderstanding, because the curator asked me, "You did a slide before, did you?" And I said, "No, but actually I would like to do one." Because what I did before was, it was a hut, and the hut had some kind of slope next to it, which was covered with the same material that you use for artificial skiing slopes, you know. So it was for sliding down too, but you needed some kind of thing to sit on. It was not a proper slide that you can just slide down with your clothes only. So we built this first one in Berlin, and then from there on it developed. I've been working more and more with double slides in the past, because I think it's quite nice to have more than one, really. So that gives you the possibility to experience how the shape of the slide is really changing the whole experience of sliding, which is a very hard to describe and very peculiar phenomenon. The best description I found in a book by Robert Caillois, which is he speaks about vertigo, but he describes sliding as being a voluptuous panic upon an otherwise lucid mind. I think that's a very nice way of putting it. It's always interesting to see how people look when they come down the slide, and it has to do with its shape. So even if, and that's something I would like to try here, if we have two very similar slides, absolutely the same shape and length, but mirrored, one turns you the left way around and the other the right way around, what kind of difference is there? How is the experience of sliding affected by the shape of the slide? But it's also about this very basic decision: do I go left or do I go right? And it's about decision taking in general. You know, what do I do in front of two possibilities? And I'm always advocating that you should do both. To go into a slide is about letting go. You have to trust not only the German engineering and in terms of safety, but also you have to let go. There's no way you can brake, or you can influence the course of the journey. So you're physically forced into some kind of body maneuver that is directed by the slide, which is the whole beauty of it, really. It's almost impossible not to come down with a smile, so it's a kind of, it's like a happiness-producing machine. Even if you really actively try to resist it, you will not succeed. But then it's also like we think slides are for children, and I wonder why. I have a theory about that, because of course they're for children, but they're not only for children, they're for everybody. Why are we not using them? I think this moment of craziness that is induced when you're using the slide, it's okay for children because they are crazy anyhow in a certain way. But as a full-grown adult, you shouldn't really do that anymore, which is something we should overcome. I don't believe in that. I think the potential of the slide goes much beyond just children using it. It should be good for everybody, even though it should be admitted it introduces a moment of craziness into your life. I find it important not to have it standing in a kind of clean environment where there's just the slide, and it's too much maybe emphasizing its formal qualities, which are also of course very important, especially also in a building like this, which is very much about squares and volumes and very straight lines, and then the slide is giving it a completely different aesthetics, if you like. Since you have the escalators and the stairs in the same central part of the building where the slides are going to be, it's making a reference to the functionality of the slide as being an object of transportation, of moving people's bodies from one place to another, and also of asking the question, why is this not much more common that we're using the slide? In this sense, it's good we're standing here on this pedestrian bridge. It's another form of making a connection between one place of the city to the other. But then behind you can see this now, but you have very tall towers, and it could as well be slides going from the towers to the other side, or connecting the towers in between. And it's actually, Brisbane is a perfect place for building slides everywhere and using this as a form of bringing people from one place to the other. So hopefully the slide here is going to be like a model slide, and then architects and politicians in the future can bring it out in the real life context, and then we can see what it really does to the people, because the experience of sliding is quite a dramatic one. And if you're doing this every day, I'm convinced it's going to change you in a way that we don't know how, but it will be a different world.